Last night was the Eastern Conference Finals. And as my son Hayes likes to say, you mean the semifinals? Yes, that's exactly what it is. And to say the Heat's offense was bad is offensive to offense. This was Eric Spoelstra on why it happened.
It's obvious players are hurting, that you simply have to change things because they are not their best selves. Kyle, Jimmy, others maybe who are dealing.
No, look, we're not going to make any kind of deflection or any kind of excuse. Boston beat us tonight, and let's be clear about that. There's guys that are far from 100% on both sides, and that's why this is just intense competition.
And look, everybody likes a coach that says, no excuses, we got our butts kicked. You let other people make excuses for you. Pretty obvious Kyle Lowry, who I'm not sure if how much he's on the wrong side of the hill. It does appear to be on the wrong side of the hill, but he's also, hasn't played a ton and didn't look sharp, right? Victor Oladipo, I think, obviously didn't shoot well, didn't play well, and this is the Victor Oladipo who used to be an all-star caliber player coming off of an injury, but regressed very much towards the mean. Jimmy Butler, 4 of 18, just a dreadful performance. Dreadful. So, I mean, look, you're 7 of 45 from 3. You're not winning games. I mean, honestly, the miraculous thing is that they were actually in the game at the half. They were only down 5 at halftime. Actually, excuse me, they were up 5 at halftime. And then Boston outscored them by, I think, 16 in the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter wasn't really as competitive as the final score. It wasn't like Boston was great. Just Miami was awful. I mean, all kinds of awful. And it's fair to say injuries played a factor. It's fair to say the shooting was subpar. It's fair to say Boston's a very good defensive team. But it's also fair to point out that this team is devoid of a cheat code. That no matter what we want to say about the Heat's culture, you still have to have a guy who can get you a bucket or get to a free throw line or create shots for other people as well. And while Jimmy Butler's a really, really, really good player, at the start of this series, he had one great game, and some anointed him a potential top 5 player in the NBA. Come on. All right. And the top 5 players in the NBA are guys who, when they have this much attention defensively, they find ways to either do it themselves or get the help of others. Right? Jimmy had 41, then he had 29, then 8 and 6 and 13, and I know the game 3 was when the knee injury kind of flared up and he only played 20 minutes. But let's just kind of call it like it is. Like there's a mix there. You have to have a guy who can just win a game for you or keep you in a game until everybody hits shots or can carry a team on the offensive side. Don't get me wrong, okay? Defense is absolutely important. Culture is important. And Jimmy is a guy who, like, in terms of leadership, he's great. There's 0 issues there, none. But he's not a superstar. He's not necessarily even your traditional star. He's not your go-to guy if you want to win a championship. Here's Jimmy Butler summing up the loss.
We missed a lot of shots. More than anything, we just had a lot of mental lapses in the second half on the defensive end. And then that was the game. I think we played a pretty decent first half, but you got to play 2 halves to win against them.
Here's Jimmy on what gives them confidence that they can win in Boston in Game 6.
With the way the offense is struggling and the injury issues that everybody's dealing with, what gives you the confidence right now that you can go into Boston and win Game 6?
Besides the fact that anything is possible, we just know what we're capable of. We know we can play some really good basketball, and we know that we're going to play some really good basketball. And it's going to have to start in this next game up in Boston. But I just think that we know that we can win.
I don't think there's any doubt that they can win the game. I don't think there's any doubt that they could win the series. But remember, there's a team on the other side who it wasn't like they played great offensively, and they seem to have another gear still in them that Boston doesn't have. This will sound kind of contradictory to many things I talk about or rail about in terms of the NBA or even basketball in general, right? That, it isn't as much about ball movement. It isn't as much about team. It's sometimes you just need a dude. Right? There's a reason that at this level, the best of the best emerge. The best of the best emerge. When the house is on fire, the real dude come in and grab and go, I got it. Stick with me. Eventually you guys will catch up. And Jimmy's not that guy. And there's nothing wrong with how good a player he is. But all the other top 5, 10, 15 guys in the NBA, that's the skill set that they have. That's the difference. Look, James Harden doesn't do all the other things that Jimmy Butler does. But when James Harden was at his best, the idea was he could carry a team offensively. Right? Joel Embiid, same thing. Kevin Durant, same thing. LeBron James, same thing. Okay? You kind of go through it, and the best of the best of the best can carry a team when nobody else can make a shot. And that's what Miami is lacking. That's why Joel Embiid said they need another star. No, they need a star. Jimmy Butler is a really, really, really good player. But let's not kid ourselves and say, well, he's one of the best, 10, 15 best players in the NBA. No, he's not. He's a really good player. And I'm not one of these guys that says defense doesn't matter. Okay? But Kawhi, when he's healthy, can carry his team. Luka can carry his team. And that's honestly a big question for Steph is when you get to the finals. One of the reasons he's struggled early in NBA Finals series is because the game gets super, super physical, and it becomes harder for him to do his kind of Steph thing. And yes, they won one NBA championship, but it was against a depleted roster of the Cavs because they lost Kyrie Irving. And it makes me wonder when they get to Boston. And I don't think Boston is some superstar great team. This may be a year early, but they're really good. And again, the difference is they have a Jaylen Brown as a number 2 to a Jason Tatum, and both of those guys they can just go get a bucket on their own. And I don't think the Heat have that. And no amount of culture, no matter how good, when you have some holes in your roster, can carry you if you don't have that dude. It's really hard to do.